Welcome back. In the last video, we focused on what objections are telling you. Now we focus on something more important, how you sound when an objection appears. Because objections don't escalate based on what you say. They escalate based on how you say it. Most objections turn into resistance because the seller reacts emotionally, often without realizing it. Their pace increases, their tone tightens. They start explaining, and the prospect feels pressure, even if the words are polite. So let's reset the rule. When an objection appears, your job is not to respond quickly. Your job is to stay calm long enough to keep control of the conversation. Here's the key idea. Speed signals insecurity. Slowness signals confidence. That's not a theory. It's how people interpret tone. If you respond immediately, the prospect feels you're defending. If you slow down, they feel you're considering. That one difference changes everything. Let's look at a common mistake. The prospect says, "I'm not sure this is the right time." The rep responds instantly, "Totally understand." A lot of companies feel that way, but actually this is exactly when, even if the words are polite, the pace gives it away. It sounds like justification. Instead, here's the posture you want. You pause, you acknowledge, you stay neutral. The pause comes first. That pause is not silence by accident. It's silence with intent. Let's drill that. When you hear an objection, count 1 full second before you speak. Just listen first. Now, the acknowledgement. An acknowledgement is not agreement, and it's not reassurance. It's simply recognition. Here are a few clean acknowledgments. Just listen first. "Okay, I hear that. That makes sense." Notice how plain they are. No emotion, no justification, no defense. Now your turn. Say each one slowly. "Okay, I hear that. That makes sense." Good. Now comes the most important part. You do not explain next. You clarify. But before we get to clarification in the next module, we need to lock in the delivery. Here's the tone you're aiming for. Curious, measured, unrushed, not upbeat, not apologetic, not assertive. Think calm professional, not persuasive rep. Let's contrast this. The prospect says, "This feels expensive." Reactive tone sounds like, "Well, when you consider everything you get." Evaluative tone sounds like, "Okay, can I ask what you're comparing it to?" Same situation, completely different outcome. The difference wasn't the question, it was the pause, the pace, and the neutrality. Now your turn. Count 1 full second before you speak. Say this slowly. "Okay, can I ask what you're comparing it to?" Did you notice the pause? That pause is doing work. Again, slower. Count 1 full second before you speak. "Can I ask what you're comparing it to?" One more time. Calm authority. "Okay, can I ask what you're comparing it to?" Good. Here's another example. Prospect. "We need to think about it." Reactive response. "Of course, but just so you know." Evaluative response. "Okay, what feels undecided at the moment?" Now repeat it with me. Count 1 full second before you speak. "Okay, what feels undecided at the moment?" Slower. "Okay, what feels undecided at the moment?" One more time. "Okay, what feels undecided at the moment?" Good. Notice something important. None of these responses justify, persuade, reassure. They simply create space. That space is what lowers resistance. Here's a rule to remember. If your response is longer than their objection, you're probably talking too much. Objection handling is not where you win ground. It's where you protect clarity. Another common mistake, many reps change tone mid-sentence. They start calm, then speed up once they hit the explanation. That tonal shift is subtle, but prospects feel it immediately. Your job is to keep your tone level all the way through. If you feel urgency, slow down more. If you feel defensive, pause longer. Those feelings are signals. Pro tip: when you feel nerves coming, force yourself to speak 20% slower than you want. It drops your heart rate and raises your status instantly. Let's install one more internal drill. When you feel the urge to explain, say this silently. Pause, stay neutral, clarify. Just listen first. Pause, stay neutral, clarify. Again. Pause, stay neutral, clarify. Good. That sequence keeps you in control. In the next video, we'll introduce the simple framework you'll use once your tone and pace are locked. Acknowledge, clarify, decide. That's where objections stop feeling messy and start feeling manageable. When you're ready, continue to Module 5.3.